My name is Slade Rushing. I'm the executive chef of Brennan's. My mom loved great food and made sure that they took us to nice restaurants, occasionally me and my siblings, and made sure that we had manners. My mom was really strict about that. But my dad also liked to try to do these dishes we had at these restaurants at home. And he was a big cookbook fan. He had Paul Prudhomme books he first started cooking out of. So he would have me in the kitchen standing in a chair at the age of 4, 5, cutting green onions with a butter knife. So that's where it all kind of started. And I just liked how he had kind of a fanship. People would always be looking to see what he was cooking. They were interested. I grew up in the countryside of Mississippi. Culinary school was something I kind of toyed with in my mind when I was in high school. I used to cook in high school occasionally from my dad's cookbooks just to see how the dishes would turn out myself. So I kind of knew that there was something there. I've always been really good with my hands. I've always been kind of mechanically inclined, and I've always enjoyed creating things. So the cooking part was something that I thought was interesting because you could create and you could just make people just ooh and ah over a great dish. It was like you had this magical power. Allison and I met after I moved back from San Francisco. I was pastry chef at Rubicon, and I came home because I wanted to save money. When I say home, Tylertown was where home is, but New Orleans is the closest city I could work at to be near my family. So I basically came home and I started working at Gerard's downtown in 2000. And then Allison popped in one day and was staging, and she wound up getting a job, and she had just moved back from New York from culinary school. And long story short, I convinced her, told her I was wanting to get to New York. Yeah, New York City is definitely the the saying, if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. It's the intensity, the seriousness of the high caliber food. I think it was technically the most skilled culinary city I've ever worked in. You get some of the highest caliber chefs from Europe, from all over the world. Eventually, Allison got the job at Jack's Oyster Bar, and then things kind of developed into her needing my help because she was having a hard time keeping staff, because basically Allison is a very talented chef. She's very demanding, and basically I slid into the role, and we became co-chefs, and she got her James Beard recognition. She won Rising Star Chef, and things became even more popular. So we came here just in time for Katrina and opened our restaurant, the Longbranch. Our vision became this simplistic, ingredient-driven, classic French and background type food, but we started coming up with dishes. Like one day we were in our apartment in Brooklyn in Dennett Place, and we came up with the Oysters Rockefeller deconstructed, laying in bed, talking about food. And sometimes I would say an idea and she would finish it, or vice versa. So there's a lot of bouncing ideas back off each other. We still do that now, even though we're not working together. I think MiLa was first of all, it was a great learning lesson for me, for myself and Allison, to understand the corporate world and to kind of merge our creativity with the corporate world. And the Renaissance brand, Marriott, was a great company to do that with. We were the highest rated restaurant at the time from the Renaissance brand. They ultimately, I think we kind of lost some of the support of the management side a little bit to take it to the distance. So things got a little comfortable, and but we just chose to just kind of go separate ways after that. When Brennan's went through the drama of the foreclosure to the repurchase from Ralph and Terry, and basically we were kind of keeping an eye on it. And I've always said that I think it would be really special to come to a French Quarter institution one day and reinvent the food that inspired me and Allison in New York. I mean, the Oysters Rockefeller deconstructed was inspired by a dish that Antoine's did. There's so many great dishes that we did riffs on. The food tastes great here, it just needed some updating. And Brennan's was my opportunity to do that. I like to say sometimes it's better not knowing what you're getting into and just kind of jump in the water instead of putting your toe in there. You're either all in or you're not. And this place, I knew I had to give it all I had in the reopening, and every day I do. But this was definitely the hardest opening, and I've been a part of many restaurant openings. We wanted to make sure we welcomed the old customer, but we welcomed the new. And we have something for both of them, and it's a challenge we face every day. Respectfully, we always have to keep our eye on that. Some days people want the Holland rusk, and they don't appreciate the homemade English muffin. And, you know, I look at it as when you have a taste memory from a burger stand when you were in high school, if someone changed that burger, put a sesame seed bun on it when it wasn't the soft bun it was, for whatever it was, you're going to be a little bit upset if it doesn't fit the time and the place. So I respect that, I do. But I hope that maybe they'll find something in the eggs Hussard, such as the Canadian bacon that's cured from scratch. The English muffins are also made from scratch. I hope they'll understand the work that we put into the food. If you're going to recreate something, a classic dish, you better make it as good, if not better. Mm-hmm. It's all done respectfully. Like I say, it's important to respect the classics. Mm-hmm. Some of these old dishes, there's not something there. There was a lot of derivatives with some of the ingredients, like it may have been a Benedict with fried oysters on it, and they named it after a street. We're always pushing for more. Ralph is always pushing us for more egg dishes, for something he may have saw at a restaurant while he was in California. It's the spirit of creativity. It's the spirit of also being a classic New Orleans institution that people take photographs of when they just walk by. They're not even eating here. It's that they've heard of Brennan's. So this is the past and also the future that kind of motivates me.